Okay, so in this chapter, let's set up the fog. It's going to be a very short chapter because there isn't much to talk about. For this map, let me see if I have fog already. No, I don't. For this map, because I have this HDR sky, I found that the atmospheric fog entity doesn't do much, doesn't work too well with this. And because I already have that information in the HDR picture, I really don't need this guy here, because this one simulates how the sunlight affects the atmosphere, and that information is already in the HDR picture, so I'm just going to skip that. But I'm going to use this exponential height fog for the distant fog. And when you drop it, if you're using the physical lighting workflow and it's a daytime, it's very likely that it's going to look black for you. And that's the same problem we had before, because it's just too dark compared to the rest of the environment. So we just need to make it brighter. And this one is very easy. It's in the fog scattering color. You can just increase the value here. Let's see. I think like now that's too much. Let's do half of that. Oops. Yeah, it's the tricky thing about this sky is that it's not volumetric, and there is an option to enable volumetric, but I don't want to do this because it's a little expensive for render, and I want to have this running VR. And I had some problems before with, like, when I enabled this option, the frame rate was like cut by it dropped by 50 per second. So it's a very intense option, but you can, if you're only doing this for portfolio, you can play with this. So in my case, I'm just going to use the flat one. And the problem that it's not volumetric is I would expect the fog to be brighter on this side and then darker on the other. So I think I'm just gonna choose to be brighter, because then it really looks like the sun is brightening up the atmosphere. And I'm not using physical values for this because honestly I don't know if like how to even find those values, so I'm just eyeballing. But I think the brightness is good, because with this you're just looking for that transition in the background. And the fall off, you can play with how short the transition is. So the smaller it is, the blurry the transition gets. Let's see. I think a 0.2, the standard one, should work well for this case. The start distance, maybe we can play with this, because I only want this for distance. I don't want this to affect my playable area, because this is a very bright day and clear day. I can't see why it would be foggy, you know, like it doesn't match the picture. Even like when you look at the picture, look how far that is, and that's when you start to see the fog. Like this stuff here is pretty far from where we are, and you see there is almost no fog there. So I want to match that. And also I'm using fog so I can hide that part of the picture. I don't want it to be visible. So that should be a little bit closer. Let's try further. I think further it starts to get weird because you start to see that. Let's see if we can. That works too. We can make it blurrier. And I'm using fog so mostly to hide the city in the backdrop, but also to separate the foreground from the background. Let me see, I think now it's too bright, so let's cut by half, see how it looks. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll go with a little brighter. The max opacity. Yeah, I'll keep this one to 1 for now. But once I actually work on the backdrop and I have more stuff in the back, and then I'll adjust these values later once I have more information there, so that I can really play with the fog. But I think for now it should be good. You know, actually, there is a way to do what I was looking for. It's the directional in scattering. So let's set this one to white, because this is the color that's is going to be visible towards the sun. And with this, you can increase. Like if you decrease, you have a bit wider effect. So you see, that's what it does. So that's what I was looking for. Yeah, I'm doing this live. I didn't record before, so we are figuring it out together. And now I can decrease this too much. And I have it brighter there. That's exactly what I was looking for. And now also the fall off, maybe... Yeah, 0.3, so it's closer to the ground. I think that works nice. Yeah, look at the range you get. But I still think it looks too bright there. Oops. Forgot about this. Maybe it's too saturated too. Yeah. And one thing that I am trying to avoid with this height fog is to affect my sky. I really want it to be just on the horizon. And tiny bit darker. Yeah, I think this works better. I like that variation. Like this, the more gradients you can get, the better. Like when you're working with lighting or anything visual, the gradients really help make stuff feel more interesting.